Hey, welcome to Apollo City Comics. I'm Brandon.
And I am David.
And we're back. It's been a while. Sorry.
It's really Brandon's fault. I just want everyone to know that.
I think it actually has been, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I wasn't joking.
I didn't do the lock and key stuff. We meant to do that second episode.
Yeah, we had people vote, and then we didn't do the episode they voted on. That's terrible.
We'll get to it. I need to finish watching the show.
Brandon has no excuse for literally in the middle of a quarantine. No one has ever had this much time on their hands, except for I don't know, medical staff maybe, and grocery store workers. But the average person, just pick someone randomly.
Yeah.
They've had a lot of downtime.
I just beat Knights of the Old Republic.
See, that's what happened. So viewers, I want you to know I was ready to give you what you had voted for, the will of the people, but Brandon was busy like a communist, like Stalin himself.
And speaking of communists, we're going to talk about Superman Red Sun today.
Yes, there it is.
The animated movie came out, and we meant to watch it. Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it.
I just, to be honest, I wasn't down to pay.
Dude, me either.
How much is it? $15 probably. I'm just trying to think of what a new movie releases for. $20.
And then the rent it's $7 right now. I'm going to wait.
Especially because, I don't subscribe to it, but you have the DC online service. It's it's only a matter of time until it just shows up on there.
It's supposed to show up the day before the physical release, but they changed it to 90 days after the physical release.
Yeah, and I think Disney's adopting the same kind of policy too.
I know, it breaks my heart.
Because it's what's the Last Jedi? No, The Rise of Skywalker. There we go.
Oh yeah,
that one's not available on Disney Plus immediately or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact numbers.
But also I saw some review. I tried to stray away from reviews, but I saw some stuff and how inaccurate it was. Of course, it's different. Of course, it's an adaptation, Huh. But apparently, it's different. Wonder Woman's character is very man-hatey.
It's interesting. I don't know why they wouldn't just do a straight adaptation. There's no reason not to. They're both animated. They're both drawn. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I thought...
limitation.
I think the book is spectacular. I think it's a really super cool book. Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Do you want to kickstart it?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let me see here.
Oh, well...
what were you going to say?
It's by Mark Millar.
Mark Millar. Yeah.
And if someone wants to correct me, do it. Or if someone wants to say that David's right, do it. But I've heard it say Millar in many interviews.
If it's Millar, that's something I'm just going to refuse to believe. And I'm just going to keep saying Mark Millar. Because that's how I've said it for years. That's what we're going with.
I will not change my life now.
Okay, well, this book starts off, and it starts off with pretty much just giving you the whole premise of this thing. And that's, imagine a world where Superman didn't land in the United States.
12 hours late, right?
12 hours late. They even make a comment like that in the book because of the rotation of the Earth. And instead, pretty much the same kind of events play out of the superhero found, except now it's in Russia, and Stalin is using him as a symbolism of communism in the same way that we use Superman as a symbolism of patriotism. Mm-hmm. They nationalize the hero. It's interesting because there's a lot of things that they say at the beginning of the book, and they're purposefully just let's use all this classic Superman imagery that we all know.
Yeah, the nice 50s and, that golden age era feel.
Exactly. Yeah. And they're just flipping it or changing one word out to be, communist propaganda. And there's even people in the United States ugh, can you believe this stuff they're writing? And it's well, you didn't complain when it was on your side.
Yeah.
I think this is a really good story about just tribalism. Because Superman, especially at the beginning, is not necessarily loyal to just Russia. And you wouldn't say that about Superman, in the old books. He wasn't just an American, superhero. He went all over the world.
World hero, yeah.
But the Americans hate him because he's the other. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. It's the same person at the beginning. Same values, same personality and everything.
It's Superman. It's how we know Superman.
But it's literally just imagery. It's just a logo. And it's not even his costume, really. His costume's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Color tone's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
but instead of the S, we have the sickle and hammer.
Yes.
The sign of the Soviet Republic. And I just thought that was it. I mean, it's just an interesting premise.
Yeah.
I was walking in the comic store today because in El Paso everything's closing, and I was like, I need to go get my books right now. Punisher, they're doing something like Punisher Soviet something. It's like a new thing coming out right now.
Yeah, it's something about the Punisher is hunting down someone that's just like him.
Oh, interesting.
But it's Russian.
The Soviet guy.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I have them digitally, but I have not looked into them. I haven't been like in a Punisher mood lately.
I'm never itching for the Punisher, which is weird because I usually enjoy it.
Except for that video game.
That video game's great.
Greatest video game.
We should do a Punisher book.
Yes.
We should force ourselves to just do.
Oh,
get out
I
of
got
our
excited
comfort zone.
and was thinking you're gonna say the video game. But yeah, we should do a Punisher game.
No, I try to play the game too. I mean, we both have a lot of time right now, so. But anyway, what else happens in this first issue? Because that's more or less like the beginning.
Well, it's cool because we introduced Lex Luthor and what he's like in this universe, and he still has the red hair, which I always find amusing because he had red hair in the beginning of the comics, and that's why he has the hair in the Superman film. Yeah, Lex Luthor wasn't always bald, and Jimmy Olsen is his like assistant in a sense.
Yeah, but he's also like a military.
Yeah. And he's one of the top military guys, and he looks over Lex, and Lex works for Star Labs in this story. He doesn't have LexCorp or anything. And here, I think LexCorp becomes Luth something. I will see it on his suit towards the end.
Yeah.
But it's a super cool name that, where is it? Oh, Luthotech.
Luthotech?
Yeah.
He just couldn't settle on the name. It was like a coin flip. And in this universe, it's the other.
I think it's real 50 sounding, like one of those EC comics, like
I see that
sci-fi names. You see that, he's always playing chess. He's always solving stuff. He is just like a genius. He's always like doing stuff. He's always exercising his brain. Yeah.
He's the Ozymandias of this story.
There's a Watchmen reference in here that I caught.
Oh, really?
Well, maybe it's not a reference, but it's super Watchmen-y.
Okay,
yeah,
we'll have to point it out when we get there.
But yeah, we're introduced to Superman and how he is, and there's a satellite that crashes down, and he flies over America and he saves it, and that's where the American people really see him, and they're just thrown off, just in a crisis. And I love it because there's a scene where he's holding the Daily Bugle, the thing that's on the roof, the giant globe.
Yeah, the globe.
And it's a classic Superman pose. It's a classic Superman cover that they're using there.
Yeah.
And they do that a couple times. There's a couple classic
car, the one where he lifts the car on his own.
Yeah.
But it's replaced with like three people like struggling to push a car. There's some cool stuff like that.
There's some cool imagery here.
We also kind of get the motivation of the Americans in that they're asking Lex Luthor to come up with a version of Superman.
Yeah, this is very Cold War era feel, isn't it? Yeah.
It's arms race. Yeah. It's exactly what it is 100%. We also should mention Lois Lane is Lois Luthor. She's married to Lex Luthor.
And she is miserable kind of from the start.
It's actually, this is weird. This part is almost just like Watchmen in that he becomes super obsessed with his work and his brain is just on this whole other level. And there's no room for their connection anymore. And that she feels like totally neglected and all that stuff.
100%.
It's Watchmen. Exactly what happens with Dr. Manhattan.
100%. So much Watchmen in this. In the world. Well, wait. Put a pause on this for a moment for a quick rant. I mean, we're in a pandemic right now. And if half the world is in chaos, maybe this is Ozymandias' approach.
It's a little more subtle than Squids.
Yeah, it is. Alan Moore did say that. I mean, he does it with V for Vendetta and Watchmen and like all his books, but we need like a global threat to unite us all and to fix our bad ways and everything.
It's interesting.
Yeah, maybe
he's not wrong though.
Maybe he's doing some magic in Northampton right now.
Wow. Go see what Alan Moore's up to.
Yeah, see what he's doing.
Keep an eye on him.
But we're also introduced to Wonder Woman.
Yes.
And nothing too crazy about her, just kind of introducing her to this world. I think it shows interest between her and Superman, but that's like the extent of it.
Yeah, they're never like in love or anything.
And spoilers. I mean, you guys read the comic, but she makes a comment later on that or Superman makes a comment on how blind he was towards Wonder Woman. And I think it's here in the first issue.
Yeah.
But that how he missed out on her and he should have gone for it. And everyone encourages like, hey, you're the only one that could keep up with the Superman.
Yeah.
Why don't you? Yeah. And, Superman is keeping an eye on the world at all times. And that's super apparent here in the first issue. And he's scanning everything in this big, I guess it's like a ball of some sort.
The ball.
He's like with Wonder Woman and everything.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying he was scanning a ball. I was like, ball?
Oh, no.
No, but they're doing a scan of the ball.
Yeah. And he's like scanning around, like looking at the fields and everything around him.
That really threw me for a loop for a second. I was
My bad.
He's not scanning anything.
I like jumped to the page. My brain shut off. But no, we see it's who's this guy again?
Oh, the name, is it Pyotr? Pyotr? Pyotr, Peter, like the Russian Peter? Are you talking about the one that...
The chief of police.
Oh, the chief of police, yeah. Yeah, no, Pyotr is the other guy. The one that is Stalin's illegitimate son, I'm pretty sure, is Pyotr Roslav. I'm not sure what the chief of police names is, but he's just Russian Commissioner Gordon, I'm pretty sure. Like Commissioner Gordon's family just moved to Russia in this universe, and that's him.
That could be it.
That's
honestly.
actually Jim Gordon, but his name is Joseph Gordon.
Is it?
No,
I was like, dude, that would be insane if I overlooked that.
That would be so funny. The next scene is actually the part where I kind of have a little bit of a gripe with this book and the book's logic and reasoning, because after this ball thing, and I get the Wonder Woman part, she still exists in this world. Yeah, and they're people. I can never say that island's name. Thermasia? What is it?
The Mascara?
The Mascara? There we go. They interact with other people and stuff. Like, they're like diplomats. I get that. But then in this next scene, Roslav, or Piotr, whatever, he shoots these kids' this little kid's parents. Yeah. And then this ends up like making Batman. Yeah. But this doesn't make any sense, because Batman... his origins are totally disconnected from Superman's. Like, this book is saying that because Superman landed here, Batman got created somehow. But does that mean that Superman's responsible for Batman's creation and some weird butterfly effect in the regular timeline?
It would have to be a butterfly effect of some sort.
It just doesn't make sense. It seemed like they were really trying to force Batman in here.
This whole story, I mean, being an Elseworlds story and book, just trying to recreate the Justice League in Russia. I think it's not even so much like just Superman. I think it's just creating the DC universe in Russia.
Yeah, because they could never... DC has a really hard problem with just like portion control. Oh yeah. They're like, we could just do this tight story about one thing, but they just always
have to bleed into everything.
They got to bring someone else in. They can't just do one person's story.
Hal, like, for example. Yeah. Like, Hal was not... How do you fit the Green Lantern Corps into that? Like,
it just seemed totally... Yeah, it seemed really unnecessary.
And then all the other lanterns are there. Raynor and Gardner.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is stuff I don't know.
Yeah. There's like all the name drops. There's a lot of name drops in here, and it's... Oh man, there's a whole bunch of them. I'll point them out towards the end too when I catch them.
But anyways, yeah, I just had to make him a gripe here, because we get this little Batman origin story, and his motivation makes sense. I mean, the Bat part doesn't necessarily make any sense.
None of it makes sense.
None of it really does.
Because they're basically like active. His parents are activists. Yeah. And they get shot because it's
Russia.
It's Russia. Yeah. Man, this kid is tough, though. He gets shot in the shoulder.
He does. This Batman's way tougher. He's Russian Batman.
He's not even crying when his parents die. No. He is not American.
No, he's not. You can just tell.
He
Bruce
is tough.
Was bawling his eyes out.
Yeah. Screaming like a baby. But no, yeah. I mean, where does the Bat come into play? How does he do it? And he's also... I like the Batcave, though. It's all beat up in a sewer and all that. Yeah. I mean, it's more very Russian grounded, I would say, But, I mean, I could kind of get parents getting shot, want to seek vengeance. They were activists. He has his beliefs and all that. Mm-hmm. But nothing else about it makes sense. No. Unless there was like an American Batman that he was influenced by, and that's how he was like, I'm going to adopt the cape and cowl.
I guess. That's a stretch, though. There's no mention.
That's
of
a huge
anything
stretch.
like that.
Yeah, that's like the biggest stretch.
Yeah. Weird. But after that, Stalin is poisoned while Superman is off
talking to the chief of police. Yeah,
and he witnesses this whole thing too. Superman witnessing the little kid's parents being shot, right?
No.
Oh no. He's telling him that in a flashback.
Yeah. He's telling him the story. Yeah.
He's telling him the story about it.
I did think one part was super cool is when the guy tries to shoot himself in the head, and then Superman stops that bullet.
Yeah,
like
that is pretty cool.
And I mean, that's the cool thing. I think this entire first issue is taking what we're familiar with Superman, his actions, his behaviors, his emotional feelings for like humanity. It takes all that and it just puts it in this new country. So it's all the same. It isn't until issue 2 that we start to see that change in Superman and how it would actually be different if he was raised there.
Yeah, that's true. The first one is just a lot of introduction. And you know what? We can get into issue 2. I mean, quickly, just the rest of issue 1 really is like
Bizarro.
Superman dies. Stalin dies. He's poisoned. And there's the allusion to some sort of power vacuum where people are going to try. Is it going to be one of his illegitimate children appointed? Some people want Superman to do it, but Superman doesn't want to get involved in politics. And then we get Bizarro's creation by Lex Luthor. And that's another cool thing. You get like reimaginings of the villains as well. There's a bunch of villains who show up.
Parasite, all them. You even see Doomsday for a minute.
Brainiac, I
thought was a really cool one.
He looked really cool. He looked like the 60s aliens, like Mars, Mars Attacks kind of thing.
Oh yeah, and that's my favorite one, that 70s 80s.
Yeah.
Well, actually the Brainiac until like the 90s when they gave him like skin.
Yeah, that was weird. That is weird.
Yeah, I like the android Brainiac. I think that's the coolest one.
That is pretty cool. But yeah, they send Bizarro,
which is crazy looking. I love the Bizarro in this one.
He looks really scary.
And how it has like that 50s US branding on his chest. Yeah. And I mean Luthor too, I think he kills everyone in his lab, right? Yes, yeah. So Luthor's already trying to maybe keep the lid shut on how far he's going on some of these things. Yeah. Very Ozymandias. But Bizarro ends up like killing himself, saving the day. Yeah, and Superman's like, I'm not too sure why he did that, but he did it. And yeah, it just shows like there was some goodness in Bizarro in that sense, or maybe he just knew like this was like my only way out, or he was still enough of Superman or something. Then we get this minor character, Lana, who's like Superman's childhood love, as we know from the regular. It's a normal thing. She's a little redheaded Russian girl in this one, but she gets older, and the issue ends with there like being a bread line and people not being able to get enough food, and then Superman wants to help out this old friend he has, but then everyone else in the crowd's like, what about us? And Stalin's dead. We might not even have food for a month or something like that. Yeah. And then Superman's like, you know what? This is how I need to help people. This is how I'm going to take over. The power he's been rejecting this whole time is the one he needs to take in. Yeah, just like Batman, you know what I mean? He's trying to do vigilante justice, but really if he just invested his money into, lower income areas in Gotham, he'd probably solve a lot of crime on its own before he even started. But or just reinforce that police force, Yeah, right? Yeah. Come on. But, superheroes. Yeah. Egos. Okay, so issue 2, it jumps ahead. Yeah, each one has at least 10 to 20 years of a jump. And it reminded me kind of a Spider-Man life story where you jump into the next issue and you're like, oh, whoa, okay, so what happened? Yeah, you're kind of recapping and you're catching filling up to history. Yeah. At first I was like, man, I hope DC didn't do one of these stupid things where I need to go read another book. Read. I wouldn't have done it then. Yeah, but it's cool. They just jump ahead and you know that Brainiac had fought in Superman at this point. Yeah, because it's like all the most familiar parts of Superman is what they used for this book. And that's the cool part. You don't really need to know much about Superman except for minor details and characters. And again, like Life Story, it's the accessibility is what it is. You know what I mean? Just like Watchmen. Like a casual fan could pick it up and not feel over encumbered by stuff like Doomsday Clock, for instance, which just feels like page after page of reference and deep cuts. Yeah, what am I even reading right now? Societies that no one's read in 20 years. Yeah. Well, it talks about the bottled city of Kandor, but it's not Kandor, which I think is super cool. Which one? Oh, it was a city in Russia, and Brainiac took that instead of. Oh my gosh, where is it? Instead of Moscow.
Yes.
Yeah, and so Superman, it's the one thing that even in the comics, I don't think they solved that. Maybe until the early 2000s or 90s, where they finally put the city of Kandor on a new planet. And it's just one of those things that Superman never solved. And so they use that same element here.
That's interesting, because that part of the story was actually the only thing that was kind of confusing to me.
Oh, really?
And I felt like I missed something, especially towards the end when they talk about bottling up a city or whatever. And I got what they were doing. Like they were using it as like a testing ground,
device,
essentially.
Yeah.
But I wasn't familiar with the city of Kandor. See, I don't even know that about Superman.
So the city of Kandor is the city that Brainiac took off of Krypton and held on to it. So when Superman faced Brainiac, he got the city of Kandor back because that's the only thing left of his home planet. And some stories, like in the animated series, it says that Supergirl's parents live in Kandor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like right outside of whatever city Superman's from.
But what does the Adventures of Lois and Clark say? Because that's the real canon.
Dude, we should rewatch that.
It's on the DC streaming
Universe.
service.
Yeah.
I saw it on one of their ads the other day. I was like, wow.
It probably gets the lowest views.
I was like, that's the show you're using to advertise your streaming service?
Lois and Clark. All these bad 90s TV shows that they had. They might as well put that Justice League trailer up. Did you ever see it?
No.
The 90s Justice League?
No. Oh. Were they really going to do it?
They were... I mean, no, the pilot happened and everyone said no.
Oh, but there's like a trailer of the
there's
pilot?
a trailer. Yeah, look it up. It's like a CBS or ABC Justice League show. And they showed the pilot and it has everyone. The Flash, Green Lantern. It has Martian Manhunter, who is just in a disgusting outfit.
Oh, I'm so excited. I have to watch this
It
now.
is horrendous. Okay. It has... I think a girl from Mad TV as the main character.
Oh, no.
So you could just tell you can't take it seriously.
Oh, no. Okay, we definitely have to watch this.
So, he faces Luthor again. Luthor is looking a little chunkier here. Which I think is...
He gains more weight as the book goes on, which is only 3 issues.
But here we see the Superman Museum.
Oh, yes.
And we see a character kind of walking around and kind of eyeing all the history of it. And we learn later on that it's actually the Batman.
It's the Batman. And he's like a terrorist in this.
Yeah.
Like he's like a revolutionist is a better term to describe him with. Because he's saying that Superman he has no right to be in charge of these people. And, what is this, what's the word I'm looking for? Like peak society. The word's escaping me right now. Utopia. What is this utopia if we don't have freedom?
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty interesting. And the Batman fight, he's just as resourceful as regular Batman. He's getting chased and he escapes. He does the Batman thing. Super
cool. I really dig the Batman in this story. Although he's not as smart and resourceful as the Batman we all know, but for an underground Batman, I love it.
He's Batman on a budget in this book.
And do you pay attention to his batarangs?
No, what were they?
It's actually later on. They have a close up of one of them.
Yeah, when he fights Superman. Spoilers.
Is it? Yeah, it has to be that part.
And it has a little hitting him in the back of the head.
Yeah, and there's a screw. There's a batarang and a screw and a nut on it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I think it's for balance or something.
Yeah,
but it's just super. You could tell it's all homemade.
That's amazing.
But let's see here. So Superman is now in charge, and a lot of people like it. You could tell the people under him do not like. What's his name?
Peter.
Peter.
We'll just call him Peter.
Piotr. Yeah, he is. He can't stand Superman from the
start.
No,
and he's a Stalin kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He is Stalin's illegitimate son. He feels like he should be...
Because he was a 24 and he wanted to be it right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's going to work with Batman to try and to remove Superman by force.
Yes.
With the help of Lex and the U.S. government. So it's really a bunch of people in on this thing. But then Batman is like, yeah, I'll work with you, even though you killed my parents. But when I'm done, I'm going to kill you. I just want you to know that.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, why don't you just kill this guy, Batman?
Yeah.
Why don't you start by killing this guy and then try and kill the god?
Exactly.
That part didn't make a lot of sense.
I felt the same way on that.
Yeah, Batman's logic he's not on his A game here.
No, he's just very driven, I guess, by this cause. Yeah.
By vengeance.
Oh, and so then it's funny because we go back to America so often, to the Daily Bugle, not the Daily Bugle, Daily Planet.
The Daily Planet. I do that all the time.
I know, right? But it keeps that 50s golden age feel to everybody in it. To what's his face? God, I'm spacing everyone's name. Perry White, the guy that runs the Daily
See, I don't
Planet.
know any of this, man.
Really?
I know J. Jonah Jameson. That's who I know.
The equivalent to J. Jonah.
This is probably the first complete Superman story I've ever read.
Really?
I've read a couple Superman issues here and there, and I've always been like, eh.
I want to say this was the second Superman story that I read that really got me into Superman. The first one was Grant Morrison's Action Comics run from the New 52. And it is cool. It is super cool.
Okay.
And I read this one after that, and I think, man, I do not know what other Superman I've read.
No, see, I don't know.
It's just one of those characters I've never, I don't want to read Iron Man.
Yeah, I have no desire to read Iron Man either. A few of them just don't interest me.
Yeah, yeah.
To be honest.
And it's one of those things, it has to be a really captivating story to get into. Oh, well, of course, I've read it, but Alan Moore's Superman. When Crisis on Infinite Earths happened, that was the same time as The Killing Joke and as Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow. And that's when they ended that version, this Golden Age version, Silver Age version of Superman.
Yeah.
And they were going to kind of reboot him after that. And I think after Crisis on Infinite Earths, I want to say he got the mullet.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
really?
Because this ended that entire idea of Superman. It was no longer this. He had to evolve. So Alan Moore wrote this similar to how this is, that, timepiece period Superman.
Okay.
And it is a remarkable Superman story but you kind of have to know Superman. You kind of have to know what he was like and his characteristics and what they're doing to him. And I mean, spoilers, maybe I'm not, I could be wrong. It's been so long since I read it, but I think everyone dies in Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow.
Whoa.
Like everyone, all of his team and everything, and he ends up surviving somehow. But it is, it's Alan Moore. It's worth the read.
Yeah.
100%. But there's also, no, I've read it once. I don't remember it, but there's a Justice League episode after it, but for The Man Who Has Everything, where Wonder Woman, I think in the comic it's Batman and Robin, but in the Justice League TV show it's Batman and Wonder Woman, where they take a present to Superman for his birthday, and they're like, what do we give the man who has everything? And I think Batman gives him a bunch of money because he knows Clark's poor. And I don't know what Robin or Wonder Woman do, but they go in and Superman has almost this Starro plant on him, and it's taking him to a dream world if he stayed on Krypton and lived out his life. Yeah, and it's super cool. I think it involves Mongol. I'm not too sure, but
I have no idea. You're pushing the limits of my Superman knowledge right now.
Yeah, it's but that's it. I want to say it's 4 stories I've read besides this one, but it's hard finding a good Superman story sometimes because it's one of those characters he can do everything.
Yeah, and that's what really doesn't raise the stakes for me. Well, speaking of that weakness, though, that's kind of how this second issue really ends, because he fights Batman, and they find out that his weakness is red sun energy.
Yeah.
Get it? Red sun, everyone?
Yeah.
Do we get it?
Yeah.
But apparently that's what the sun was like on Krypton.
Just regular
Yeah.
canon and all that. You know, this is, again, a callback to Dark Knight Returns. This Batman-Superman fights. And there's even this punch right here. I want to say Jim Lee does a similar punch in Hush.
Yeah, I feel like he does.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just like a famous... You know, after reading this and Hush and everything, I kind of want to do like let's count it let's do a count of every Superman Batman fight and figure out who's won the most of them. Of like every time they've appeared together and fought it out.
Of which one's the best one? That'd be cool.
That would be interesting.
Be a fun couple
ranking
reads.
The Superman fights.
See all the references in each one of them.
Like, yeah, right. They're all exactly the same fight.
Yeah.
But Batman lures him there with Wonder Woman, who he has tied up with her.
Yeah, and he has Wonder Woman speak, knowing that Superman's listening for her. Mm-hmm. But I love this Batman, how he brings out those knuckles, like to like just punch the hell out of him.
Yeah, because Superman is reduced to a normal human under the light, so Batman has a fighting chance.
Right here, this is it. It has the Batarang.
Yeah.
And it has a nut and bolt, and there's even like a hole in it too and everything.
That is so funny. Well, he almost gets him. Like, Batman almost kills Superman.
Yeah.
Or imprisons him, really. But then Wonder Woman breaks through her lasso to save him.
Yeah.
But it, like, drains life force from her or something?
I guess so.
I'm not familiar with this. I don't know if this is, like, a Wonder Woman thing.
Oh, I don't know.
I just thought that was interesting. I never knew that, like, breaking her lasso would...
So much power, it would, like, destroy her practically.
Yeah.
And that's the crazy part. She goes, like... She's useless after this. She's, like, almost comatose.
Yeah, but she recovers because she's back later, but... Mm-hmm.
But it really just...
sucks the life out of her.
Yeah. And she has white hair now, which is insane.
Yeah.
Lex is moving up in the world. JFK is still alive. Mm-hmm. And he's, like, an old man, which is really interesting to see. And they have, like, a Green Lantern Zeppelin.
Yeah, they're talking about their own alien that they discovered in Roswell. Mm-hmm. So they say the Roswell alien landing was really like a Green Lantern
thing, yeah, which is cool. It's
pretty cool, but yeah. I feel like people listening to this podcast who are maybe like more Alien fans than Superman fans are like lame.
Yeah,
like yeah. Frank listening to this right now, editing, he's like, sounds lame, dude.
Yep,
sounds lame.
And Superman also now has like Brainiac working for him in his own way.
Yeah, and this is a big plot point that they have these devices that Superman is basically, if someone goes against him, he's like changing their brain. Yeah. He's like giving him a lobotomy to where they can still function, but now they have no ill will against Superman.
No freedom.
Because he realizes that he's made the Soviet Union better, so now his view is getting twisted, and now he wants to take control of the whole world.
Yeah, because he wants to make it better for everyone.
But he still doesn't want to hurt people. So he's not going to fight anyone or kill anyone, but if you speak up too much, he will scramble your brains, which is like way more twisted than anything else.
Yes.
I'm not going to kill you, but I'm going to break your free will and make sure you do exactly what I tell you to do.
And he has all these... So, and at the end of issue 2, or maybe it's the beginning of issue 3, but they have the... Batman's dead, so they have other Batman rising up.
Yeah, which at the end of the Batman-Superman fight, he ends up blowing himself up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, which was awesome.
But now he has all these Batmen still in costume, like cleaning his, like, Fortress of Solitude.
Oh, yeah. Because there's more Batmen who show up. He becomes like a symbol. And then Superman, I guess, just, he's been scooping these guys up and scrambling their brains and then... making them do the clean toilets. There's some line about cleaning toilets.
Yes.
Like Superman becomes super ruthless and authoritarian.
And meanwhile, America is going down the tubes.
Yeah, they're crumbling around an entire world of just like one giant Soviet nation.
And it's all successful around them. Mm-hmm. Like everyone has a job. There's like no homeless people.
Yeah.
It's like practically a utopia, like you said, that Superman's created for Earth. And America is just falling apart.
And well, man, if there's something else you want to get in, I feel like I don't want to go too fast, but basically what happens is like Lex Luthor becomes president.
Yeah.
And then he makes America great again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He fixes the jobs. Everyone gets a job. He fixes the economy. Mm-hmm. People are getting tired of winning so much. That's how much winning is going on.
Uh-huh.
And ultimately Lex he's doing it for a bad reason. He's doing it because he wants to try and kill Superman.
And that's his only motivation.
He doesn't care about people at all.
No.
Which is actually like kind of weird because it pits this weird ideological battle where Superman has the best intentions, but his execution is terrible. And Lex Luthor has terrible intentions, but his execution is benefiting everyone.
Yeah.
So ultimately, what's going to happen is Lex Luthor's going to take one more stab at Superman, and we get this like really twisted Hal, who's been like tortured by communists.
Oh yeah.
And while he was being tortured by communists, the only way he stayed sane was by, in real time, building a concentration camp to kill all of his oppressors.
Yeah.
It was like so dark.
And going like beat by beat, and that's how everything passed.
If it took me a day to dig a trench, I took a day to dig the trench.
Yeah.
I was like,
whoa. That is discipline.
So then him and the rest of the Green Lanterns try and they make this one last play. It's like the Green Lanterns and Wonder Woman and other Amazonians, and they're all going to go try and kill Superman because they've all decided Superman is not of this planet. He should not be the one who's in charge. Like, humanity can do this.
And you know what? Because they didn't go back to the Guardians, I forgot about this. They discovered what the phrase was to bring the power back to the power battery. The Lantern power battery.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes,
so it took them like a million simulations, but they finally found the right word combination to give it power, and that's how they're able to duplicate and distribute this to a Marine army.
Because basically they have an air force of Green Lanterns, and there's what, maybe like 100 of them. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of Green Lanterns. It's cool, but we see the Fortress of Solitude again, and you see that there's like the T-Rex that Batman would have.
Yeah.
The Titanic, and a statue of Darkseid is there too.
I noticed the Darkseid statue, and it doesn't look different. It looks just like the Darkseid that they have from the universe that we normally see. So I thought that was kind of funny.
That's pretty cool.
But the dinosaur thing really threw me off. I was like, wait, why?
Yeah.
Why is the dinosaur here? And why does Batman have that dinosaur? I'm so confused.
I want to read that issue where he gets the dinosaur, because I know it's a canon thing. Yeah.
We should find it and read it for the channel. I would love that.
I would love that. All his artifacts, do some deep digging.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Top 10 issues where Batman finds something for his cave. We can just start doing top 10 videos.
So Luthor attacks Superman.
Luthor.
Luthor.
It just sounds like a Thor knockoff.
Oh my gosh, yes. Luthor. And he gets sucked in by Brainiac. Brainiac just takes him in. And so Superman and Brainiac are about to face off against the Green Lanterns. And yeah, there's a lot of Lantern references. I want to say, there's that terrible panel you showed me too.
Oh yeah, there's this funny panel where the Green Lanterns have this big plan about like, okay, everyone, I'm going to put a cube around them, and then we need to all put these cubes around at this certain spacing so that it'll be impenetrable for him to break. And the Superman's like, you guys have took too long explaining it. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But he looks so ridiculous. He looks like a caricature in this one panel. What page is it on the paperback?
I don't even have the page numbers on here.
But
it's in
the Green Lantern. It's in the Green Lantern battle when he's in the cube, and it's got the funniest photo.
He's in the safe that they made to hold him in.
Yeah,
and his face, he looks like a Cyberman from Doctor Who.
Yeah, he does. He does.
But Guy Gardner's here. Rayner's here. The other Green Lanterns, essentially.
And see, this didn't even faze me, but it was cool because this is a way to reference deep cuts without it feeling like I'm missing an important part of the storyline.
Yeah.
It's just some guy's name. I'm like, okay, fine.
And that's cool. And that's the cool part is that you don't need to know, but the fans that do know, it's like, oh man, they do exist. Like, they're here. What else?
Well, Superman handily takes out all these foes.
And then we see the Metallo, Livewire, Parasite.
Yeah, they send even
Atomic
more
Skull,
when they realize that they're failing, and still Superman is just wrecking people.
And then he sees Lois again.
Yeah,
and she has the ultimate weapon to bring him down. Oh, because Luthor is level 9 intellect.
Level 9 intellect.
Yeah,
and Brainiac doesn't let him talk to him because if he talked to him for 14 minutes, he could convince him to commit suicide. Like, what?
What?
So, yeah, Brainiac protects him. But I guess the message that he had was written on a letter that Lois has in her pocket.
Yep. And it says, why don't you just put the whole world in a bottle, Superman? And so that's the turning point. That's why, like, that's such a powerful device in the beginning.
And it captures the whole story. It's like, yes, Superman was creating a utopia, and maybe people were living without any sort of fear or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just living in a bottle. That's like that's not really living. It's like someone's just controlling all the elements of your life.
Yeah.
And that's not what America's about. That's not how we do it in America. You told me to quarantine. I ain't quarantining myself. It's
living
America.
my life.
Yeah.
And of course, Brainiac betrays him.
Yeah, and then
because he's a level 12 intellect.
He's a level 12 intellect. Yeah.
But then Luthor kills Brainiac.
Mm-hmm. I guess those 3 points didn't make a big difference.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And then Superman, it looks like he sacrifices himself.
Yeah, he takes Brainiac's skull ship. Is it into the sun or just into space to blow up?
I think into space, because it needed to be millions of miles away. It had all these black holes inside of it that was going to destroy everything in the universe or something.
Oh, yeah, the three mini black holes. Yeah,
so Superman flies away, and everyone thinks he's gone.
And then we hear about the lineage of Lex after this.
I really liked this part. It reminded me of, like, straight up, like, the Bible, when they just start going through lineage in the Bible, and they're like, Abraham, son of Ibrahim, father to, and they just keep going. But in this one, it's like, and this was cool. I thought this was a cool ending. It just felt like a nice, fun little ending, although it just seems to come out of nowhere. Inspired and led by billion years of Luthor lineage, because it's just, the world is prospering. Lena Luthor, the artist, Lombard Luthor, the Imagineer, Lori Luthor 145, the math magician, Jordan Luth 1938, pioneering necronaut, and first man to set foot in the afterlife.
Oh, I love that one, yeah.
Yeah. Alex L., Jordan L., Lana L., and of course Lex Luthor's Lex Luthor's great-grandson to the power 50, a young man called Jor-El, whose IQ exceeded that of even his beloved ancestor. And then we get Jor-El like explaining to his wife, I tried to explain to him the planet's gonna but no one's listening, and they're like, well, let's put our baby in the spaceship,
Kal-El, and
we're gonna send him through time and he can be our bright. And then it cuts to like the ship landing in the 30s. Yeah. So this weird timeline is trapped in a loop.
Yeah.
And I just think it's so crazy. What's the message then? Is the message, it doesn't even matter? It doesn't even matter? Like, who's putting you under the boot? You know what I mean? It's all the same.
Oh, man, you're right. Well, I guess that you can't change Superman, I guess.
And isn't that the same thing that happened in Doomsday Clock? Do all Superman stories end this way? Is this just how it goes? Well, this is just Superman. If I read another book with Superman and it ends with the flashback of like him landing in a cornfield, I'm walking away.
Oh my God.
It's so ridiculous.
Man, you are right. You haven't had a good Superman experience at all so far.
Well, they've all been good stories.
Oh yeah.
And Red Sun, I enjoyed. Doomsday Clock, it's not a Watchmen book. I still stand by that. It's a Superman story.
It's a Superman story, 100%.
But I enjoy this book. I just think it's really funny. And I think the ending, it was like they were getting to the end. They were like, how do we wrap this up? And they decided to put this like time travel twist in it. I just don't know what it says about the world. Because without that time travel part, then the message is, sometimes humans mess up and sometimes humans are imperfect. But, we'll come together and we'll make bad decisions and we'll learn from them because that's how the human race works. But now it's like, wait, what?
Yeah,
the human race is really just the Krypton. So Superman was never different. He was just us from the future.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't have been mad at him when he was trying to control every moment of our life. What? Like the meaning gets fuzzy.
Yeah,
because of the last, page or whatever they decided.
Just the last 3 pages where it shows that the future part.
And they could have, I don't know.
Even if they carried on how great Luthor was and what he became, that would have made more sense. But no, you're totally right.
It's weird. It's a weird choice.
It's a cool oh man, it's just a circle. Yeah. But sitting down and being like, wait. No.
Yeah, it's a cool device. You finish reading the book, you're like, whoa, what? That's crazy. But then when you start thinking about it, you're like, well, what does this mean? For storytelling? What is it? I don't know what this means now. Oh, does this mean that Superman is always just Lex? Like, Superman is a Luthor, you know what I mean? How many branches and how many multiverses is Superman really a Luthor and we just don't know it?
What did I just watch where it was, oh, you're not this, your last name is actually this? And oh man, oh my gosh. Whoa, Batman, Curse of the White Knight.
Oh, and I haven't read this.
You haven't read it yet?
No.
Can I spoil it real fast?
Sure, why not?
So,
well, spoilers for everyone else too, because this is like something going on right now.
And the last issue just came out today.
Okay, wow.
Totally worth reading. But real fast, quick spoilers. You might not even remember this later on. But we're following the Wayne lineage from Europe to Gotham.
Okay.
And seeing how it was raised. And apparently he got betrayed by the family that runs what is it? I'm spacing the name right now, but that the religion that Azrael follows. And it turns out that Bruce Wayne isn't a Wayne. He's actually the other family. And they've been raised because they swapped, because one took his identity. And this was like in the 1300s where you don't have like track records for some of this stuff. You know, it's all
get
paper.
Someone else's baby, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's actually not Bruce Wayne. And his whole thing is a lie.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like back in the 1300s, it doesn't even matter anymore.
Right. It's so far back.
Like, who cares now?
And he's all devastated. But it's like, dude, that was like, come on.
700 years ago, Bruce, you're upset right now?
Yeah.
That's weird. See, and that, I mean, I haven't read the book, but that also just feels like a twist for the sake of having a twist. So like,
it's one of those things.
Here it is.
But it does serve a lot towards the plot and motivations of the characters. Because it's revealed and it does have, this doesn't have meaning.
No, because it's just a cliff. It's just a little cliffhanger.
And then, Superman's a Luthor.
Yeah, how weird.
So Luthor just hates his great-grandson.
Yeah. But you know what? Overall, I would say I definitely would recommend reading this book if you've listened to this and you haven't read it. I think the imagery is really cool.
Yeah.
The art style's not anything like groundbreaking.
But it's cool.
It's cool.
Yeah.
And they nail that aesthetic of Golden Age. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But flipping it on its head. And I think that's the most interesting thing about reading this book.
And honestly, if you enjoyed this even a bit and you're curious about a different kind of Superman without being Superman and you're into this whole Golden Age type of feel, read Supreme by Alan Moore. It's kind of like the piggyback off of his Miracle Man run. How Miracle Man was kind of like a Shazam Superman character.
Okay.
Supreme is like Superman, and it is, dude, it gets all the cool stuff from the Golden Silver Age eras and like plot lines and storytelling devices, but written so much better. Like, it's some of those Golden Age stories are so hard to get through. Like, the writing is horrendous and the artwork is really rough. But I mean, it's Alan Moore. Like, there's no denying everything he writes is almost perfect. But the Supreme story, dude, I read it and I could not put it down. And there's so many great homages and so many great dude, there's a whole issue just based on Jack Kirby. And they even changed the artwork because it's when Kirby died. So they did a whole tribute issue to him, and it's this whole multiverse story. It is just cool. Just so cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I might check that out. This would be a good time to read some more Alan Moore.
It's fun.
I feel like I have a lot of holes to fill. The guy's written so much.
Yeah, I went on like him and Morrison. I was just flipping back and forth from, and there's so much good stuff. But Supreme, Miracle Man and Supreme are the two stories you got to read.
Okay. Well, it seems like a perfect segue into a pull list with our rec. Oh, well, I don't think there's any trailers to talk about, are there?
No, everything's postponed. We're never going to see that New Mutants movie.
No, the New Mutants movie is never coming out. Well, you know what? I'm going to say they have to release it now because there's just so much. It's got to be done.
Yeah.
And like they need to recoup some losses, but it's just hilarious how far can they push that movie
Dude, we were
back?
right there.
We were so close.
So close. It was like our next story to read.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be this episode.
Yeah, it was supposed to be this episode was going to be New Mutants.
This whole virus thing really threw off our schedule.
Well, we were trying to be more topical, and now it just feels like, let's just do something fun.
Yeah.
And if we just stuck with that, then it would have never been an issue. But that's just how the internet works, everyone.
Yeah.
Anyway, on to pull list. Did you have any recommendations, or do you want me to go first? What do you want to do?
What do you have?
Well, I was giving you a hard time about how we have so much time right now and you still haven't finished Lock and Key. But I've somehow managed to not read like a single comic book this whole like last 3 weeks or so. I've just been off comic books. I haven't I even have Wonder Woman Dead Earth 2, which I've been really looking forward to reading, and I just haven't got around to it.
Oh, yeah.
I got sucked into reading I Am Legend, and maybe part of it was just us talking about, all the virus stuff and everything, and I'd really enjoyed that book when I was younger, so I decided to reread it. It's a short story. Richard Matheson's like a horror author from the 40s, but the story really feels like relevant today. It doesn't feel outdated. It feels like it could happen right now. So yeah, I read I Am Legend, and man, it was a great book. The book is just so much stronger than the film adaptation that most people are familiar with. Yeah. It just is so much more psychological and about, what being the last person alive on Earth, like what really would that do to your psyche? Like how would you really have the motivation to live?
That's cool.
If you were it, you know what I mean? So the book is way darker, a lot more interesting, I think. And then on a kick, I watched the I Am Legend movie, and I also watched Omega Man starring Charlton Heston, which is an adaptation of the same thing. Both are I Am Legend's a better movie than Omega Man. Omega Man's really cheesy, but both of them do little things that the other doesn't to respect the source material.
Oh, that's cool.
There's one more with Vincent Price called The Last Man on Earth, and it's the first adaptation of the story.
It's on Criterion.
And it's also on Amazon Prime streaming.
Ooh, nice.
So I'm going to watch that. I'm really curious because the book I Am Legend is set in California, but for some reason both film adaptations are in New York.
Of course.
And I'm wondering
there's a Batman Superman movie poster in the Will Smith one.
Oh yeah, how funny. Yeah. How funny that all connects.
Yeah.
I just wonder if this Vincent Price one's going to be in New York too. That'll be really funny.
That'd be pretty weird.
If somehow they just all got set in the same place. But yeah, I would really recommend reading that book, especially if you're in for some kind of, because some people right now are just so concerned, and I'm concerned too, for sure. I'm not taking it lightly. But when something like this is happening, I do like to watch virusy stuff. I like to kind of indulge myself into it a little bit, and it
really
tickles
get
my fancy.
into character.
Yeah, exactly. And I really enjoyed that. Man, other than that, I'm trying to watch Clone Wars and be done with it. Maybe we can do an episode when they finally finish all the new episodes, which will be in a couple weeks. It's a long show too, but man, it's so good. So much of it I've forgotten. Maybe we should do a top 5 episodes or something, or top 3 episodes, and then we'll talk about the new ones or something like that. I don't know, because there's some arcs in there that are really good.
I'm hearing the new Mandalorian arc is going to be epic,
especially with Ahsoka, live action Ahsoka Tano. That's really crazy.
So I want to binge all this stuff now. I never finished Clone Wars, and I have not finished Rebels, of course.
Well, yeah, but now to catch up with, because the universes are becoming more and more connected, which is cool. Back in the day, it was just you had the books and there was no connection to the movies whatsoever.
Exactly. And Clone Wars, the TV show, had nothing to do with the movies practically.
No. But now they're getting closer and closer together, and it seems like this season of Clone Wars is going to be even more related to Revenge of the Sith, and it just seems like from some of the trailers and everything, we're going to get these moments that really fill in all the extra little holes and stuff. Cool. So,
what's what I loved about that Samurai Jack looking show, The Clone Wars?
That one's cool.
That one's awesome. It's my favorite one, because I haven't seen the rest of this one. But if it felt like you could leave Attack of the Clones, watch that, and then just jump into Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, way more digestible for sure. So there's the Clone Wars. Oh, and then of course I got a shout out to Animal Crossing.
Nice.
Animal Crossing. Oh my gosh, I can't remember the name. New Horizons.
Oh yeah.
New Horizons. I've played every Animal Crossing. Every time they come out, all the main games.
Yep, he said it, guys.
Super into it, and man.
It is huge. It's crazy how many posts I see about that game.
Oh man, it feels like everyone I know who has a Switch has bought in it too.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just on today and I kept seeing people popping online, and everybody was playing Animal Crossing. I was like, this is insane. We all need to get together and
I need to get a Switch.
Visit each other's islands. It's really cool. I mean, if you really like Nintendo properties, if you have any kind of affinity, I would definitely suggest it. But man, I've played some outstanding Switch games. Breath of the Wild is just that alone is enough to buy a Switch for me.
Cool.
But I love those kind of games. And it's not even, it's the least Zelda that I've ever played.
Really?
It feels a lot more like a Skyrim or something.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's just way bigger, and it's just, doing whatever you want to do. It's really cool.
Nice.
What about you? What do you have?
I just realized I have not been reading a lot of comics either. I did the Curse of the White Knight series because I had to catch up on it.
Okay.
And, I'm excited to read issue 8. Great. Read Curse of the White Knight. Sean Murphy takes the animated series Batman and he puts it in the same universe as the films and carries it further. And it is cool, dude. Like, just because there's references to the older Batmobiles, there's like the way the Batcaves are set up, the way his armor is. And I like, because he has like a little like Dracula, like he has a collar around his neck, kind of the way the new one looks too.
Yeah.
The Pattinson version, and that's what it's just super cool. But his storytelling, he is such a great and passionate person about Batman. He gets all the right beats, and even the stuff you want to question and fight back on, you're just like, all right, cool.
That's
and
cool.
Some of the deaths in this series are, man, there's nothing held back. Like, it is the first one, there's like one major death, but in this second one, dude, it's just a good series. I would love to do an episode on it, and
that'd be cool.
It's 2 volumes. I want to say it's 16 issues each. Dude, it's so good.
So the last one just came out?
Yeah, today.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're releasing comics early today.
But would it be worth picking up like in a paperback or like a collection?
Dude, I cannot. The collections for sure.
Okay. I'll have to do that. I'll probably just skip the single issues.
It's probably easier. Yeah, it's probably way easier. I know the first volume, Batman White Knight, the deluxe edition just came out, and it looks beautiful. And Sean Murphy is writing and drawing this.
Oh,
and
cool.
It's all him, and it is, dude, awesome. I'll show you a picture of it, and it will convince you right away.
That's cool.
All the memorabilia they have behind it. He's just a huge 1989 fan and a huge animated series fan. So he incorporates all that stuff into it. I finished reading because I finally got the last 3 issues of Conan the Barbarian. Jason Aaron's run.
We were talking about this.
Dude, so good. Like, if you want to read a good Conan comic, have you read Conan before?
I don't think so.
I haven't.
Maybe like one book.
Yeah, maybe
sometime.
Random issue at some point.
Yeah.
Or just a story, But this is just great, and it feels so Conan-y. Like, and you learn so much about him. Encompasses his whole life. And you go through every issue, pretty much 1 through 9 are individual stories with one big arc. And the last 3 issues conclude that big arc. And it's a lot of fun. A lot of super good stuff. I'm still reading IQ 84. I'm on book 2 of it because it's like one giant book broken up into 3. I think that's it, dude.
Yeah, it feels like, there's more time, but maybe less time.
KOTOR, maybe?
KOTOR, always a recommendation for Knights of the Old Republic.
But I haven't, I can't think of anything else I've read. Maybe some single issues here and there.
We'll have
kept up with Batman and whatnot.
We'll have to really up our reading and have a lengthy pull list. Next episode.
Yeah, I have a stack. Oh, I read the first 6 issues of Spawn. Remember I was talking about it last week? Yeah, I finally caved and I read some Spawn because I own the first 25 issues.
Okay.
And so I started digging into it. The artwork is cool. I like the artwork. I like Todd McFarlane's artwork. The story's all right.
Okay.
It's interesting, but there's some parts where it's like, dude, you did not need to write all this. Like, you put too much. Like, you did not. Half of this stuff, like, literally, after I read it to Kato, my girlfriend, when I was reading it, because I could not believe how bad the writing was. It was just like, something about like, I have my arm's broken and blah blah blah. And speaking of which, this and this and this, and it's all like one big monologue. And he's like, just got defeated in a fight, and I'm like, dude, if you're saying speaking of which in a monologue,
weird.
just stop. But it's cool. I mean, it's interesting for sure. I'm getting to the issues where they had guest writers, Frank Miller, Alan Moore, and Neil Gaiman. Yeah, so I'm right there.
Some big people, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm trying to get to the part where Greg Capullo, most popular Batman artist right now. He did the New 52 run with Scott Snyder.
Okay.
And he's doing the metal stuff that's coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I've seen that.
I'm trying to get to his Spawn issues because I want to see that artwork. But I can't say much of anything. I've been watching a lot of movies. That's it. Watched Tombstone last night. We watched Major League the other day.
Great movies.
Yes.
Great movies.
And I'm doing this project I've been working on for this company. We're doing like this new arc, so when they pitch it, they have everything ready. And I'm doing a lot of samurai research right now. So
that's cool.
I am hyped.
Yeah.
So hyped. I'm looking into Lone Wolf and Cub, the movies and the manga, and Criterion.
Yeah, it's a lot of
Samurai
Kurosawa
movies.
on there, man. Yeah. There's so much good stuff there.
Yeah. So I'm hyped.
That is definitely worth the hype.
And I'm going to start Red Dead today because I watched Tombstone yesterday.
Well, we should accompany it with a samurai game, man. You got to find a good samurai game.
Recommend one.
There's not a ton. I'll think about it.
But that's it. Hopefully this virus isn't hurting any of our viewers, listeners.
Yeah, stay safe out there, everyone.
Yeah. But read some comics. Let us know what you want to hear because we'll read them.
Yeah, we got time.
Yeah. We might possibly push out more episodes.
Maybe.
We'll see what's up.
We'll see what we can squeeze in with the...
We might go a little virus theme going right now.
Yeah.
Are we going to do the deceased Marvel Zombies?
Oh, yeah, we were talking about doing that next. Of course, now I feel so bad about the Lock and Key Volume 2.
We could do them both.
That's getting to my my conscience. Yeah, but we're going to do a comparison of Marvel Zombies versus Deceased. We're going to do both of the first volumes.
Yeah.
And, they essentially have the same premise, so let's see which big house did it better.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we'll compare it to the first issue of Walking Dead, which is like Image's representative.
And then possibly, if you want to start reading it now, Earth X, because that is a virus story. And the current series, Marvel's X, is a prelude to Earth X, and it does talk about the start of the virus and all that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. It's such a weird history.
Comic books. All right, everyone. Well, thanks for listening.
Thanks for hanging, and good seeing you, David.
Good seeing you.